Kia ora, and welcome to Tuesday's Economy Watch, where we follow the economic events and trends that affect Aotearoa. I'm David Chaston, and this is the international edition from interest.co.nz. And today we lead with news the Yemeni Houthis have announced a naval blockade against Saudi Arabia, but effectively closing the Red Sea. Elsewhere, new mediation talks are underway again. In the US, the Conference Board's leading indicator tracking turned negative in June. The shift isn't down a lot because it wasn't very positive in earlier months, but it is consistent with the Atlanta Fed's GDP Now tracking showing an exhaustion of the pace of the US expansion. Off-balance sheet debt at the big US tech giants is exploding, making investment assessments harder to make. It is now an estimated $1.65 trillion as artificial intelligence investments ballooned, a Nikkei study shows, and now exceeds actual reported debt. The problem is particularly acute at Meta. These companies are about to report their second quarter 2026 results, and these debt levels are sure to become an issue. The main way these debt obligations stay off balance sheets is via innovative lease transactions centered around timing issues. And US big tech valuations are also under threat from Chinese alternatives, especially the relatively new Moonshot K3 version. It is hard not to get a sense that financial markets are facing a revaluation crisis in the tech sector. In Canada, their CPI inflation rate came in at 2.8% in June, with a core rate of 2.1%. Both these measures were lower than in May and slightly lower than expected. And the Malaysian export boom is carrying on, up 45% from June a year ago, especially for electronics, which was up 57%, and petroleum up 56%, and especially to the US, which was up 109%. But they needed all of that because imports surged sharply too, up 44% from a year ago. And the People's Bank of China kept its key lending rates at record lows for a 14th straight month in July, as widely expected. The one-year loan prime rate, the benchmark for most corporate and household borrowing, was held at 3%, while the 5-year loan prime rate, a reference for mortgages, remained at 3.5%. However, rate cut expectations are rising there as their domestic economy slows. German producer prices were up a modest 1.8% in June from a year ago, similar to the two prior months, but this new level is in contrast to the PPI deflation they had reported for the earlier 12 consecutive months. A number of major countries are struggling to contain the devaluation of their currencies against the US dollar. Japan is seeing its currency at its weakest level since 1996. India is seeing levels back to near record lows they had in mid-May, and Indonesia is battling record low levels as well. All these are major economies and trying to work out what level of higher interest rate differential is needed to stabilise their situation. This is just part of a rising interest rate background, not helped by the prospect of high US interest rates from their inability to tackle inflation effectively. The US Treasury 10-year yield is now just on 4.60%, up 4 basis points from yesterday. The price of gold has slipped to $4,003 an ounce, down $14 from yesterday. Silver is now just under $56.50 an ounce, up 50 cents from yesterday. Oil prices are up 50 cents as well from yesterday at just under $83 a barrel, while the international Brent price is now just under $89 a barrel. Hormuz transits are still just a trickle. There have just been one crude tanker and 5 cargo ships exiting in the past 24 hours and 8 entering for new loads, and all this traffic is Iran-linked. The Kiwi dollar is marginally firmer from yesterday at just under 58.5 US cents. Against the Aussie, we're down 20 basis points at 83.5 Australian cents. Against the euro, we're up 10 basis points at just on 51.2 euro cents. That all means our trade-weighted index starts today at 62.3, which is unchanged from this time yesterday. And the Bitcoin price starts today at $65,541 and up 1.6% from yesterday. Volatility over the past 24 hours has been modest at just on plus or minus 1.4%. You can get more news affecting the economy in New Zealand from interest.co.nz. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston. We'll do this again tomorrow.